Well, good morning, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal on a beautiful Thursday morning. Yay, Thursday. For those of you who don't know, I don't work on Fridays, so Thursday is my Friday. And we start this beautiful Thursday at 18 degrees here in southern British Columbia in Canada, which would make it 65 already in American. The first thing I noticed this morning was all the grass is really brown. We've had so much heat, and the grass has paid the price. Now they're telling me that towards the weekend, of course, it's going to cool down, not only cool down, but we've also got the possibility of rain, which I'm certain the grass will really enjoy. But you can almost hear it going, please. You know? And I always think in a way it's a bit sad if you get a little bit of rain, because then it gets all excited and thinks, okay, I'm going to live again. And then you get another hot snap and then it fries again. So I think there's a lot to be learned from grass. Because grass learns to go dormant when it gets hot. And in keeping with what we've been talking about this week, I was thinking that it's quite a nice analogy. Because if you learn to just go dormant when it gets hot, you know, when the temperature of a conversation rises and goes against what you believe, or if when life is starting to get hot for you, you know, too many things are going on, you're getting into overwhelm, wouldn't it be nice if we could learn just to hibernate? And I don't mean hibernate away from the world as much as just hibernate away from our emotion. I was talking last night to Yvonne about the fact that we only had 2 weeks to go to VidCon, and whilst I'm obviously excited, there is part of me that's quite aware of and remembers some of the chaos I hit going to Vegas and coming back again. And one of the things I definitely learned was not to be carrying a roller case, a big one. Well, no, mine isn't. Mine's a medium-sized one. A roller case, a computer case that you had to carry, and a bag, because all the time you're standing in line where you haven't got rid of your big bag yet, you are trying to manipulate 3 bits of luggage, and it's a pain. Because you keep shuffling along, you know, a foot, and move 3 bits of baggage. And so this time I'm going to take my small black carry-on case and put my computer equipment in there, rather than maybe take my backpack instead of my now I'm going to take my black bag. Anyway, I'll work it out. What I want to do is to minimize what I'm carrying going through the airport. That's really what I'm trying to do. To make that journey easiest, because that's where it was the most stressful, by far. And that's why I want to minimize what happens there. Now, Yvonne made a good point as well, which is I don't really need my purse with me. Pack it to travel. And that's a good idea. Anyway, I'll think about that next week. Next week's my start packing week. And luckily, because we did the Vegas trip, I know I've got enough clothes to last a week, because I did well in Vegas. And I've picked up a couple more skirts since then, so I've definitely got enough what I like about skirts is it's, they're cool during the day, but they also, look fairly dressy at night, even if you don't change. So it's sort of like, okay, that works both ways if you've got to go through a whole day and then still be out in the evening. So quite exciting. So about the grass, I think the nice thing about grass is that it learns to adapt to the weather. And so grass grows when there's plenty of water. And for those of you who study dreams, it makes me smile because in most dream analogies, water is related to emotion in most cases. And so if there's a lack of emotion, grass doesn't grow. It just learns to stay quiet and behave itself. Now, it doesn't get all the attention either. If you think about it, it doesn't get regular haircuts and stuff like that. So I think it's a nice analogy, because if we let our emotions, i.e. the water, get out of control, then the grass will grow so much it becomes out of control. And it gets to be a pain to look after it, which means that we get to be high maintenance. I like this analogy. How many of you can relate to it? And so we don't really want to be high maintenance people, if we can help it. Now, of course, I'm beginning to get more high maintenance, I fear, as I get older. Not intentionally, it's just by virtue of the fact I can't do as much. And that really is sad for me. Now, I thought I'd give you a report, seeing as it's Thursday. I think this is now nearly 3 weeks of having a totally tidy bedroom floor. Now, I know for a lot of you going, so, but for those of us who don't have tidy bedroom floors normally, you will know how much discipline that's taken. And literally, when I see something in the wrong place on my bed or on the floor, I talk to Manon. For those of you who know Manon in the south of France, she's one of our broadcast viewers, and I just say, Manon, that doesn't belong there. So let's move it. And why do I talk to her? Because Manon is the one person that has been honest enough with me to let me know just what her bedroom looks like. And we have always had this hand-in-hand thing about tidying up our lives. And so I thought I'd talk to Manon for a second, and anybody else who's not perfect, about what I'm doing now that I've got the stuff off the floor. I'm still working a little bit each night on my bedroom. And what I'm doing is every night, at one point of uploading and processing the vlog for the night, I go into my bathroom and I wet a cloth, one of those miracle type cloths, you know what I mean, the microfiber cloths. And I wet that, and then I go back and I start wet dusting the next thing. Now, unfortunately for me, the next thing yesterday was the unit to the right of my bed as you look at my bed. And that one has been out of reach for some time. One wonders whether it's been centuries from the amount of dirt I got off it, or dust I got off it, rather. But it definitely was well worth doing, let's put it that way. It was very rewarding. I, in fact, may need to go back and do it a second time tonight. And that's all that I have to do once a night, is I wet that cloth and I go and dust until the cloth's dirty. When it's time to take the cloth back and rinse it and clean it, I've done enough. And it's amazing because it actually is just right. It's just the right amount of cleaning in my bedroom. Now, at one point, I've got to take that unit right out and clean behind it. And that obviously is a little bit difficult because my total gym is there, and that's part of the problem. But I think I can do it. I'm pretty certain I can do it without too much trouble. But it was amazing, the dirt I got off that particular unit. By the way, for those of you who recommended, I know Nana was one and somebody else who recommended I get a basket to put all my clickers in, my remotes. Yep, works very well. Thank you very much indeed. I didn't have them in a basket originally. I had them in a see-through shoebox because then I could see what was in there. But I must admit the basket works really well. And I'm even getting anal enough to put that basket away before I leave home in the morning so that it's neat and tidy. Bit surprising, really. I'm definitely changing here. Now this weekend my goal is to, you know, that multi-faceted unit I have with lots of cubbies in it, or cubies. Major traffic snarl up. Oh well, gives me more time to talk to you. Anyway, so those two units that I've got that go down the side of my room, I think they are 4x4, like 16. I think it's 4x4. You have 16 cubies in each unit, and there are two of them side by side, so that's 36 cubies. But it gives a big expanse along the top, and I've got a lot of stuff on there, and a lot of it's memory stuff. They're cards from you guys when you've sent me cards. I put them up there to remind me that you're there. So every night when I'm editing and I get a bit frustrated or it's taking too long, I look up there and I look at the thank you cards and I go, no, it's okay. You can do this. So that's my inspiration, in a way. And then I know I've got a couple of flower vases up there that are so pretty. A friend of mine, Marnie, for those of you who know Marnie, gave them to me for my 50th, I think. My 50th or my 60th, but they're beautiful. And I very rarely put flowers in them because they are so beautiful. Go figure that one. I don't know if any of you relate to that. And then I've got a lot of pictures of Bean and Yvonne's son Cody and Cody's son Zach, and you know, things like that. They're all on there as well. And so now what they tell me is if you want to get simplistic, you know, you need to clean all that off and only put a couple of things back. So I was thinking, you know, maybe I need to put the pictures on the wall because that would get them off the unit. I have to think about that. I can tell you one other thing that I'm looking forward to the rain. I'm realizing just how dirty my car looks. I've either got to put it through a car wash. I think I have to take it through a car wash, even though it's going to rain. It really is quite disgustingly. It's, what do you call it? It is dusty. I could write my name in it right now. I shouldn't be advertising that, should I? Silly me, duh. Anyway, so what plans for the weekend? I'm trying to think what I've got. I think I've got a fairly quiet weekend. I'm going to get my hair cut one last time before I go to LA. And then, of course, I'm really interested, for those of you who are in LA, if any of you are going to VidCon. And if so, I should see if we can meet up and get a hug or something. So if you're going to go, let me know. That's a good thing. So I was thinking as well about the grass thing, that how you have to really look after young grass, and how mature grass sort of looks after itself as long as you weed it. It sort of just carries on. It doesn't need a whole lot of attention, whereas young grass does. And I was thinking that sounds a bit like our emotional levels. You know, when we are emotionally young, we need a lot of attention. When we mature, we're not as high maintenance. So then I thought about the weeding. And it's amazing the weeds that get into my lawn without my going near it. It's like people come and plant weeds in my lawn while I'm sleeping. Have any of you noticed that? So you think, gosh, where on earth did those weeds come from? Well, it's funny where weeds come from. They sneak in. I think they tunnel. They tunnel so you can't see them. And then they shoot up. And one minute you don't have weeds, and the next minute, you know, a quarter of your grass is covered in weeds. Very nasty. And so I think life's a bit like that. You know, we're doing well, we're in control, we're happy, we're doing all sorts of things, and the next thing we know, all sorts of weeds have grown in our mind. And I think part of the reason, weeds of distrust and weeds of insecurity and weeds of green jealousy things. And so I think part of our job on a daily basis is to clear our mind and our lawns of weeds. Because if we don't, they take hold. And then we don't end up with a lawn, we end up with a weed patch with a bit of grass in it. So look around your life today. And that's what I would ask you to do. And just see whether your life is, you know, your sort of green grass is dormant at the moment and you're feeling pretty mellow, or whether your grass is full of emotion, i.e. water, and is very green and requiring high maintenance. And I read somewhere not so long ago, funnily enough, that life is too short to have it filled with people who drain you. So have a look at the people around you and have a look at what effect they have on your life. Now, I understand that some of the people who drain you might be people that you can't sort of walk away from too easily. But look at ways of getting yourself away out of their sphere of influence. So I wish you all a very peaceful day. And it may feel a little less dramatic. And you may need to take yourself away, as I've said, and sort of just get out of the madding crowd. And I think it is a madding crowd. You know, it makes you sometimes wonder about the sanity of things. Yesterday, I had a colleague who was in need of some help. And you understand, I could quite easily justify it's not my job to help her, but it is my joy. And that's the difference. And so I sort of cleared all the emergencies off my desk, and then I went and said, okay, fine, let me try and help you do what you're trying to do. And I spent probably an hour, maybe a bit more, trying to help. And you know, it felt good, because it is who I am. And Then I went back, and I went back to being very peaceful and doing my job. But I had a nice smile on my face because I had fed my soul. And so I would ask you, if you will, just to be aware when you're watering. The grass does need water. We do need some emotion. Emotion's not bad. What makes it bad is when it's out of control. When we haven't learnt to nurture it and trim it back and edge it. That's when grass gets to be messy. So if you have emotion under control, it looks so pretty, doesn't it? How many of you just love to see a beautifully mowed lawn and beautifully trimmed in the edges and just have to smile and you go, wow, isn't that beautiful? So take a step back, get a little dormant and get control of your grass. This is Dear Mama Sal saying bye-bye for now.